Hey guys, tonight we're staying up way past bedtime because the frost on my window still hasn't melted from that night in Quebec, and I swear I can smell kerosene every time I close my eyes. I'm sitting here with nothing but a single candle flickering between me and the dark, trying to keep my voice low so the mic doesn't catch the way my teeth still chatter when I say the name Black Hollow Mill. I wish I'd never seen that orange glow floating above the tree-line like a second moon. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Then drop your local time in the comments and tell me one creepy thing in your room right now. Mine? That little brass lantern keychain I stupidly kept. It's warm. Always warm. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. I'm behind the wheel of my beat-up Civic, heater coughing like it's got smoker's lung, and the snow is coming down so thick the headlights just bounce back at us. Jace is riding shotgun, feet on the dash, drumming on his knees to some lo-fi beat only he can hear. In the back, Miles keeps checking the temperature on his phone like it owes him money. -22°C. A real-world fact. That's cold enough for your breath to freeze into ice crystals before it hits the windshield. Fun, right? We're three community college dropouts who thought sneaking into an abandoned paper mill the week before winter solstice sounded like prime content. Black Hollow shut down in 1927 after a boiler explosion flash-fried half the night shift. Locals say every December 21st the old gas lamps relight themselves, floating through the rafters like will-o'-the-wisps with a grudge. Internet forums call them solstice lanterns. Experts still argue whether it's swamp gas, leaking acetylene, or something that learned how to wear fire the way serial killers wear skin. I just wanted a viral video. 10,000 likes and maybe rent money. Jace twists around, grinning that reckless grin that always gets us in trouble. If we die, he says, at least we die aesthetic. Miles groans and pulls his hood tighter. He's the one who brought the infrared thermometer, the one who read every missing person thread about this place. He's also the one who packed 3 thermoses of cocoa like we're on a school trip. Sweet guy? Too sweet for what's coming. The mill appears out of the blizzard like a rotting birthday cake. 5 stories of broken windows and smokestacks clawing at the sky. Someone long ago painted "Keep Out" in letters taller than me, but the snow filled them in, so it just looks like the building is smiling with frozen teeth. We park behind the old loading dock, kill the engine, and the silence is so complete I can hear my pulse in my ears. Jace is already out, boots crunching, breath pluming like dragon smoke. Miles hesitates, then follows. I grab the camera, the spare batteries, and the stupid brass keychain someone mailed me after I posted about the trip online. Anonymous gift. No note. It's shaped like a tiny lantern, and it's already warm in my pocket. Weird, but whatever. Content. We slip through a tear in the chain-link fence. The air inside the mill is warmer than outside, which makes no sense until I remember the urban legend. The place breathes. Old-growth forest forums say the explosion cracked something underground, something that exhales heat every solstice like a dragon waking up. I pan the camera across the loading bay. Snowflakes drift through holes in the roof and vanish before they touch the floor, swallowed by that impossible warmth. First stop is the drying loft, 3 stories up a staircase that creaks like it's personally offended we're here. The steps are coated in black ice that looks wet but isn't. Jace goes first, because of course he does. Halfway up, his phone flashlight catches on something hanging from the railing. A single paper lantern, red silk rotted to threads, still glowing soft orange from within. No bulb, no wire, just light, pulsing like a heartbeat. Miles whispers, "That's not possible," and I shush him because the camera is rolling and I want that sweet, sweet spooky audio. At the top, the loft stretches out like a frozen cathedral. Rows of ancient drying racks stand like ribs, paper dust hanging in the air thick enough to chew. And there, on the far wall, someone painted in charcoal and what smells like old blood. We waited for the flame-bearer. It never left. Below the words, a list of names, maybe 30, scratched so deep the wood curls like shaved chocolate. The last name is dated December 21st, 1927. Same night the boilers blew. Jace laughs, nervous but excited. Yo, this is gold. We're sleeping here tonight, right? Miles is already backing toward the stairs. I should listen to him. I really should. But the keychain in my pocket is burning now, hot enough that I have to shift it to my coat. And somewhere deep in the mill, a lantern just lit itself with a soft pop, like a match struck underwater. The drying loft smells like wet newspapers left in a microwave, sweet, sour, and wrong. My breath keeps fogging the lens, so I wipe it on my sleeve and instantly regret it, because now the camera smells like the mill too. Jace is already 30 feet ahead, weaving between the drying racks like a kid in a haunted corn maze. Miles stays glued to my side, infrared thermometer squeaking every time he aims it at another self-lit lantern dangling from the rafters. They're everywhere now. Paper husks glowing soft tangerine, bobbing gently even though there's no wind. Real-world fact, paper burns at 451 Fahrenheit, yet these things have been burning for almost a century without turning to ash. Experts still argue whether it's some undiscovered slow oxidation chemical or, well, something that learned how to digest time. Miles whispers, the temp just jumped 8 degrees in 10 seconds. His voice cracks like thin ice. I want to tell him to chill, pun intended, but the joke dies when one of the lanterns drifts lower, close enough that I can see the rice paper skin is translucent. Something moves inside it, slow and deliberate, like a goldfish circling a too small bowl. We reach the far end of the loft where the graffiti wall waits. The charcoal names shimmer under my flashlight, and I swear the newest one, dated 2022, wasn't there 5 minutes ago. Someone added it while we were walking. The ink is still wet. I zoom in for the shot, and that's when Miles grabs my arm so hard his nails leave half moons through my coat. Look at the floor, he hisses. Boot prints. Fresh ones. Leading away from the wall and straight toward a rusted iron door none of us noticed before. The prints are ours coming in, but there's a second set going out. Bare feet. Small, like a child's, except the toes are too long and the heel drags like whatever made them doesn't quite remember how legs work. Jace, because Jace has the survival instincts of a raccoon on Red Bull, is already at the door twisting the handle. It opens with a sigh that sounds way too much like relief. Beyond is a staircase spiraling down into the belly of the mill. Warm air rolls up, thick with the smell of hot iron and birthday candles. The kind of smell that makes you 6 years old again and terrified of the dark. Internet tidbit for you cryptid nerds. There's a deleted 4chan thread from 2019 where a mill explorer posted a single photo, just a red lantern floating in blackness, with the caption, "It's not fire inside. It's hunger wearing light." Thread 404D in 20 minutes. Screenshots still floating around Discord servers that require invites written in blood. Or ketchup. Same thing at 3 a.m. We descend. Each step rings like a dinner bell. Halfway down, the lanterns start following. Not drifting, following. They keep exactly 6 feet behind Miles, who's now hyperventilating into his scarf. I try to film over my shoulder and catch one of them flaring brighter when the camera light hits it, like it's posing. Jace laughs, but it's too high, too thin. The sound bounces wrong, comes back to us wearing someone else's voice. At the bottom, the staircase dumps us into the old turbine hall. Moonlight leaks through broken skylights, painting everything silver and rust. The turbines are gone, leaving circular pits full of black water that reflects the floating lanterns like evil mirrors. In the center of the hall stands a single intact paper lantern, bigger than the others, basketball-sized, hanging from nothing. Its light pulses slow, almost sleepy. Jace steps forward. Dude, check this out. He reaches for it, because of course he does. Miles and I shout at the same time, but the lantern moves faster than anything that gentle should. It drops like a hawk, ribbon tail whipping out, and wraps around Jace's ankle with a wet snap. He yelps, more surprised than pain at first, then tries to shake it off. The ribbon tightens. The lantern deflates against his leg, flattening until it's just wrinkled paper clinging to his jeans like a leech made of tissue. Then it starts to drink. I wish I could unsee the way the glow crawls up Jace's leg, under the fabric, lighting his veins like fiber optic cables. His face goes slack, mouth open in a perfect O. The lantern inflates again, slow, deliberate, stretching until the rice paper turns translucent, and I can see Jace's warmth pooling inside it like molten gold. His cheeks hollow. His eyes recede. The lantern's surface ripples, and suddenly there's a face pressing out from within, Jace's face, calm and smiling, eyes closed like he's dreaming. Miles grabs my sleeve. We have to go. But my feet won't move. I'm filming. I'm always filming. The lantern finishes its meal with a soft pop, like a kiss. Jace's body folds in on itself, clothes collapsing inward until there's just a pile of empty denim and frost. The lantern, now the size of a beach ball, rises lazily, Jace's stolen face blinking open. It looks right at me and mouths my name. No sound, just the shape of it. That's when the other lanterns descend. Dozens of them. Hundreds. The turbine hall fills with warm orange light, and the smell of birthday wishes gone rotten. The turbine hall is a cathedral of hunger now. Every lantern a stained glass window with my friend's face pressed against it from the inside. Jace's lantern hovers at eye level, tilting like a curious puppy, and I swear the glow brightens every time my heart slams against my ribs. Heat is the bait. That's the rule I piece together while Miles yanks me backward, boots skidding on frost that shouldn't exist in this warm hell. Real-world fact. The human body radiates about 100 watts of heat at rest, enough to keep a small light bulb glowing. Guess what just found its favorite renewable energy source? We bolt through a side archway that smells like scorched paper and pennies. The corridor is narrow, walls sweating rust-colored water that steams when it hits the floor. Behind us, the lanterns flow like a lava lamp from hell, silent except for the soft rustle of paper brushing paper. Miles is ahead, flashlight beam jittering across graffiti that wasn't here 10 minutes ago. It wears what it eats. Fresh letters, still dripping. Experts still argue whether the mill's steam tunnels form a natural thermocouple that keeps residual electricity cycling forever, or if something learned to metabolize body heat into perpetual motion. I vote door number 2. We burst into the boiler room, 3 stories tall, catwalks dangling like broken spider webs. The old boilers squat in the center, iron bellies split open and glowing dull red from within. No fire, just heat. Miles skids to a stop, thermometer screaming. 120 Fahrenheit and climbing, he pants. We're cooking. I spin, looking for anything flammable that isn't us. There, a stack of canvas boiler suits, stiff with decades of starch and despair. Beside them, a dented kerosene drum still half full, slosh, slosh, like it's laughing. Internet tidbit that kept me awake for weeks. In 1931, a hiker found a lantern floating above Black Hollow with the face of his missing brother pressed inside, mouthing help over and over. Search party followed the light for miles. Found nothing but warm snow. Story got scrubbed from newspapers, but the microfiche lives on in a university library that smells like mothballs and regret. Miles is already ripping open the drum. We make a decoy, he says, voice shaking but steady. My boys got survival instincts after all. We stuffed 2 boiler suits with crumpled work orders, old asbestos gloves, anything that'll hold shape. I pour kerosene over the shoulders like cologne on a corpse. Miles shoves heat packs from his backpack into the chest cavities, the chemical kind that hit 130 degrees when you crack them. We zip the suits, prop them against each other like drunk scarecrows, and splash the rest of the kerosene in a trail leading toward the far catwalk. Jace's lantern drifts closer, face serene, eyes tracking the warmth blooming from our decoy. The other lanterns follow, forming a glowing funeral procession. I flick my lighter, click, hiss, and touch the kerosene trail. Flame races away from us, whooshing up the legs of our canvas friends. The decoy ignites with a satisfied sigh, heat blooming orange and perfect. For one beautiful second, every lantern in the room surges toward it, paper bodies flaring like moths finally granted their wish. Miles and I run. We duck into the steam tunnels, low ceiling, pipes hissing like angry cats. The air is soup. My jacket feels like a sauna suit. Behind us, the decoy's fire roars, then gutters. Too fast. Paper burns at 451, remember? We gave it 30 seconds of glory and nothing left to feed on. A soft pop echoes down the tunnel, Jace's lantern detaching from the feast, followed by the rustle of 1,000 others catching up. Miles slips on condensation, crashes hard. His flashlight spins away, beam strobing across something that makes my stomach drop. A maintenance alcove stuffed with old protective gear, lead-lined aprons, asbestos hoods, and a single child-sized gas mask with the glass painted black. Someone was preparing for something that wasn't radiation. The rustling gets louder. Closer. I haul Miles up. We're not dying in a laundry chute. I hiss. We sprint again, lungs burning, until the tunnel spits us out into the loading bay where we started a lifetime ago. Snow still falls through the roof, but now it melts before it touches the floor, hissing into steam. The lanterns pour in after us, a glowing tide. Jace's face leads the charge, smiling wider than anatomy allows. Miles skids to a stop beside the chain-link fence we cut hours earlier. Out, he gasps. We go out, and we never come back. But the fence is gone. Just smooth brick where the gap used to be. I blink sweat from my eyes. Brick doesn't move. Brick doesn't heal. Something rewrote the building while we were inside. That's when the biggest lantern yet descends through the roof. No, descends is wrong. It lowers itself on threads of fire, thin as spider silk, but bright as welding torches. It's the size of a hot air balloon now, paper skin stretched thin enough to see every face it's ever stolen layered like onion skin. Jace is on the surface, but beneath him dozens more mouths move silently, all screaming the same word, warm. Miles backs away until his shoulders hit a stack of pallets. It's hurting us, he whispers, like wolves with sheep. And he's right. The smaller lanterns form a glowing ring, pushing us toward the center of the bay where the concrete is cracked open into a perfect circle, black water below, reflecting the fire above. A drain? A mouth? Both? I grab the brass keychain from my pocket, the one that started all this. It's white-hot now, searing my palm. The giant lantern tilts, noticing. Its fire threads twitch like a cat's whiskers. I do the only thing I can think of. I cock my arm and hurl the keychain as far as I can into the dark. Every lantern in the room turns at once. The giant one lunges after it, fire threads whipping out, dragging it sideways through the air like a kite in a hurricane. The smaller ones follow, streaming after their master in a glowing comet tail. For one heartbeat, the bay is empty except for me, Miles, and the soft patter of melting snow. We don't wait to see if it comes back. We tear out of the loading bay, and the mill exhales behind us like it's disappointed we're leaving the party early. Snow hits my face and actually stays frozen this time. Whatever heat the flame bearer was pumping into the building is gone, sucked back into that paper belly. My lungs feel like I've swallowed broken glass, but Miles is faster than I've ever seen him, vaulting over rusted machinery like it's an obstacle course he trained for in nightmares. We hit the tree line, and the forest closes around us, pines so thick the sky disappears. The only light is the orange glow behind us, pulsing between the trunks like a dying heartbeat. I risk one look back. The giant lantern is rising above the smokestacks now, fire threads dangling beneath it like jellyfish tentacles. It's dragging something. No, someone. Miles stumbles beside me, and I realize he's crying. These ragged little sobs that cut deeper than any scream. That's not Jace anymore. I lie. Just a mask. Keep moving. We crash downhill, following a deer path that smells like wet needles and panic. Real-world fact. Human beings can outrun almost anything if terror is the fuel, but only for about 2 miles before the body starts eating itself. We're already on borrowed time. Miles' infrared thermometer is beeping like a smoke alarm. He rips it off his belt and hurls it into the dark. The beeping stops abruptly, replaced by a soft rustle overhead. The lantern swarm is fanning out through the canopy, paper bodies catching on branches, igniting tiny fires that wink out as fast as they start. They're searching. Internet tidbit that still makes my skin crawl. In 1987, a Quebec trapper swore he saw a sky funeral over Black Hollow. Dozens of glowing faces drifting east on solstice night, mouths open like they were singing. Search planes found 0 heat signatures. Official report, blame ball lightning. Unofficial report is locked in a drawer marked, incinerate on site. Miles grabs my sleeve. The river, he gasps. Old logging road crosses at half a mile north. If we hit water, maybe the heat signature breaks. I want to tell him water won't help against something that drinks warmth like wine, but his eyes are wild, and I'm fresh out of better ideas. We veer left, boots sliding on pine needles slick as ice. The ground drops away, and suddenly we're skidding down a ravine, snow spraying up around us like we're human toboggans. At the bottom, the river rushes black and furious, chunks of ice the size of cars spinning in the current. There's a fallen birch forming a natural bridge, bark peeled away in strips like something clawed its way across. Miles goes first. Halfway over, he freezes. I follow his gaze up. The giant lantern hovers directly above us, silent, patient. Its fire threads lower slowly, tasting the air. One thread brushes the birch, and the wood ignites with a whoosh, flames racing toward Miles' boots. He screams and leaps the last 10 feet, landing hard on the far bank. I'm right behind him when the bridge collapses into the river, burning logs hissing as they sink. We don't stop. The forest on this side is older, trees so tall the moonlight barely reaches us. Somewhere behind, the lantern swarm crosses the river without touching it. Heat rises, after all. I can feel them now, a pressure behind my eyes like the start of a migraine made of birthday candles. Miles suddenly veers right, crashing through underbrush until we burst into a clearing I've seen in nightmares. It's the old worker cemetery, maybe 50 graves marked with iron crosses bent into question marks. In the center stands a stone pedestal that wasn't here in any of the drone footage I studied. On it sits a single, unlit paper lantern the size of a pumpkin. Fresh, clean, waiting. Miles backs away. That's bait, he whispers. Don't. Too late. My hands already moving, muscle memory from every horror game where you touch the glowing thing because the controller makes you. The moment my fingers brush the paper, it ignites from within, soft and welcoming. Warm. So warm. For one stupid second the cold stops hurting, and I almost smile. Then the fire threads erupt from the ground like reverse rain. They whip around Miles' torso before he can blink, thin as dental floss, but hot enough to brand. He shrieks as they lift him off his feet, boots kicking uselessly. The giant lantern descends, paper skin stretching to accommodate its newest face. I watch Miles' features bubble up beneath the surface, eyes wide, mouth forming my name without sound. I'm screaming now, raw and animal. I rip the flare from my pocket, the emergency one I swore was for bears, and crack it against my thigh. Red phosphorus blooms, angry and bright. I wave it like a madman, trying to pull the swarm's attention. A few smaller lanterns peel off, curious, but the big one ignores me. It's busy. Miles' body is shrinking the way Jace's did, clothes deflating as warmth floods upward. His scarf catches on a thread and unravels like a party streamer. The last thing I see before the lantern finishes is his hand reaching down, fingers splayed, begging. I swing the flare in wild arcs, backing toward the tree line. The heat is unbearable. My eyebrows are singing. One of the threads lashes out, wraps my wrist. Pain like a branding iron. I smell cooking meat and realize it's me. Instinct takes over. I jam the flare directly into the thread. The magnesium core meets whatever unholy fuel runs through those veins, and the thread detonates in white fire. The backlash throws me backward into the snow, ears ringing, vision starred. When I look up, the giant lantern is reeling, Miles' half-finished face screaming silently as flames lick across the paper. I run. The forest is screaming with me now, every branch crackling as the fire threads whip overhead like burning lassos. Snow flashes into steam the instant it touches them, and the air tastes like scorched sugar and pennies. I'm running blind, flare long gone, wrist throbbing where the thread kissed it raw. My phone is dead, GPS laughing at me from a black screen, but I can still see the glow behind me. One massive lantern wearing Miles' brand new face, dragging what's left of him through the treetops like a grotesque piñata. I burst into a clearing I don't remember on any map. It's the mill's old log pond, frozen solid, moonlight turning the ice into a mirror. My reflection stares up at me, soot-streaked, eyes too wide, mouth open on a scream that has no sound left. And above me, the lantern descends slow and deliberate, fire threads spreading like roots searching for soil. Miles' face is almost complete now, calm and sleepy, the way he looked when we used to crash on my couch after all-night gaming sessions. Except his eyes keep flicking to me, pleading. I backpedal across the ice and it groans under my weight. Old wood and sawdust trapped beneath, waiting for one wrong step. Real-world fact, mill ponds were never meant to hold people. They're just rafts of frozen debris hiding black water that never quite freezes solid. One more thing Quebec forgot to mention. The lantern hovers at the edge of the pond, too heavy to cross, without something warm to anchor to. It knows. I know. We're both waiting for me to run out of cold. My breath plumes in frantic clouds, each one a neon sign screaming here. Miles' mouth moves again, shaping words I finally understand. Let go. I laugh, high, broken, sounding like someone else. Let go of what? My life. My guilt? The last two friends I'll ever have. The fire threads inch closer, tasting the air above the ice. One brushes the surface and the pond answers with a hiss, a perfect circle of melt spreading like an eye opening. That's when I remember the brass keychain. I hurled it earlier, but heat rises, and the mill exhales, and nothing ever really leaves this place. It's in my pocket again, heavier, hotter, pulsing like a second heart. I pull it out, and the metal brands a perfect lantern shape into my palm. The giant above tilts, threads quivering. It wants its toy back. Internet whisper that still circulates in the darkest Discord voice channels. Every solstice, something in Black Hollow chooses a keeper. One person gets to leave. One person carries the seed. The rest feed the flame until next year. Guess who's auditioning? I look up at Miles, sweet, anxious Miles who packed cocoa and 3 extra batteries because he was scared of the dark. His paper lips smile, gentle and forgiving. The way he smiled when I told him this trip would be epic. I nod. Just once. Then I do the only thing left. I kneel on the ice, press the brass keychain to my lips like a kiss, and whisper, "Take me instead." The threads surge forward so fast the air ignites. They wrap my arms, my chest, my throat. Warm, so warm, like falling into a bonfire made of every hug I never gave back. The ice cracks beneath me, but I don't fall. I rise. The last thing I feel is the pond closing over my boots, black water kissing skin that no longer belongs to me. The last thing I see is the lantern, my lantern now, swelling to blot out the moon, Miles' face sliding gently aside to make room for mine. I smile. It's peaceful up here. Quiet. Like floating in a memory someone else is having. Below, the mill's windows light up one by one. Paper lanterns blooming in every broken pane. A welcome mat of fire for whoever comes next December. The forest exhales, satisfied, and the snow finally stops falling. Somewhere far away, a car engine turns over and fails to catch. 3 empty seats. One brass keychain warm on the dashboard. Waiting. Hey guys, if you're still awake, blow out your candles now. Check your pockets. Check your mirrors. Check the temperature in the room. Because sometimes warmth isn't comfort. Sometimes it's bait. And if you ever see a soft orange glow drifting above the tree line on the longest night of the year, maybe one that looks a little like someone you lost, don't wave. Don't call out. Just turn off every light you own and pray the cold finds you first. The mill is always hiring keepers. Applications are open all winter. Sweet dreams, friends, or whatever's left of them. The frost on my window finally melts, running down the glass like tears that aren't mine anymore. Outside, the sky is the color of old ashes, and somewhere in the distance a single paper lantern drifts east, patient and bright. carrying faces that still know your name. I used to be afraid of the dark. Now I understand the dark was never the problem. The problem was everything that learned how to wear light. If you feel a sudden warmth on the back of your neck while you're reading this, don't turn around. Just close the tab. Unplug the fan. Let the room go cold. Some stories aren't meant to be finished in one night. Some lanterns never stop looking for the next birthday to crash. I'll be here until next solstice, keeping the flame. See you on the other side of the year, maybe. Or maybe you'll see me first, smiling down from 30 feet up, gentle and hungry and oh so warm. Sleep tight, if you can. End of script. Sleep tight, if you can.